a question about, because it sounds like all of you guys are married or been married, so, and like different levels of your partners, like how do you kind of deal with who you get to marry or who you stay with, like, and like if you have kids, and because I'm just wondering, like, because marriage is such a, like a process to be in, and like to be under the eye of the government that you're with this one person, but on an emotional level, are you really with just that one person under the eye of the government? So I'm just wondering, like, what are your experiences with marriage for all of you, and how that works? If you are with one person and you're married, and then you are with another person and you want to be married with that person, or if you decide to be divorced but still be in a relationship because you want to not be attached. I don't know.
So in my particular case, people have asked me the question, like, well, if you're polyamorous, why get married? Right? Like, it kind of boils down to that. And marriage for me was a certain level of commitment. Like, we all kind of start off as friends, then we go, okay, look, the next step is dating, and then, okay, the next step, like, we're serious, and maybe engaged, and then maybe married. Marriage is kind of the final step of me saying, I want to commit to you wholly for my life. And some people just enjoy dating multiple people. My personal perspective is, if it was legal to marry more than one person, my wife and I had a girlfriend for 4 years, and both of us were madly in love with her. And if we could marry another person, we probably would have, made the choice to marry her. I have a firm belief that what's between consenting, keywords, consenting adults, is between them. So that's kind of my philosophy, and as long as it doesn't affect the rights of others, like, nobody's kind of treading on my ground, like, what do I care, what do two consenting adults do? You know what I mean?
I've been married and divorced twice, and I'm a little gun shy. So my one partner and I are, according to Ribbon Canada, common law. My other partner has been with us long enough to be common law with me as well. And I've said to them that I won't marry again until I can marry both of them. So I'm a little nervous in my home too.
That's all right.
I was just going to say I've never been married, and I'm not particularly interested in that institution, but support other people who want to do it and have performed marriages. But I'm really interested in new models that can support us all in our sexual freedom and getting health care and getting the needs of our children met. And so I'd love us to create a whole bunch of new stuff. We're a creative group of people.
I actually want to add one more thing too. In the marriage model, in my relationships, it does not imply a hierarchy, so to speak, of one person being more important than the other. Granted, I may have more of an investment with one person, like say in time or whatever, or just maybe I connect with them really well on different levels than I connect maybe with my wife. But in that regard, nobody's more important. Like, I may have more investment in one person. I still treat each person with equal respect, if that makes sense. Like, my wife's needs are no more important than her girlfriend's needs, or, my needs are more important than her boyfriend's. You know what I mean? Like, she's gonna treat us equally that way, and I'm gonna treat them equally in that regard, as far as like respecting who they are and give them equal weight.
Yeah, I was actually going to touch on that because I have been married. When I was married, I was living attempting to live within a monogamous structure, so it's not really relevant to my poly life. And very quickly, when I did start learning about polyamory and the way that I wanted to do it, I realized that for me, marriage did imply a hierarchy no matter what. And so my particular preference for the way that I conduct my poly relationships is to not be married to anyone. To have relationships with people that suit each person that I'm in a relationship with, but without putting any societal stamp of approval on it. So to some extent, I do reject marriage as a hierarchy for myself, respecting that other people have other desires and other ways that they view marriage.
Earlier we talked about jealousy,
and my question's in regard to your response, Brett. Can't remember the exact sentence you used, but you mentioned jealousy and envy, and I felt like there was an implicit distinction between the two, if you meant it, and so I was wondering if you guys could elaborate on your understanding of the two.
Yes, there is a very significant difference. Jealousy is when you want, when envy is something that, yeah.
Do you want me to take it?
Envy is about wanting something. Jealousy is insecurity. It's me too, I guess.
Yeah, there's something else too.
Yeah, you got something. I got something.
The difference between jealousy and envy is that with envy, if I can't have it, you can't have it either. That's a really big distinction between jealousy and envy. You can be jealous and still be okay with the fact that somebody else has got something. For example, I could be jealous of your beautiful dark skin. That doesn't mean that I think you shouldn't have it because I can't have it. Even though I was born turned black and I don't know what's wrong. But, right? But envy would say that you're not allowed to have it. You can't enjoy it because I don't get to enjoy it too. That's dictionary definition.
I kind of disagree. I'm sorry. I view jealousy as I want that for myself. You can't have that. Whereas I view envy as I want that too. Like your partner is going out on a date with their partner, and they're going to like your favorite restaurant. You're not jealous because you don't wish that you were there instead. You're just saying, "Gosh, I really wish I was at that restaurant too." Like that's something I really enjoy. So that's kind of how I.
So you flip them backwards.
I do. I flip them backwards. Yeah. Maybe I'm just retarded. I didn't read my dictionary.
See, I didn't want to make that mistake. I'm going there.
I'm a little nervous about where I'm sitting.
I think also I'd like to add, I talked to Blake about jealousy, but I'll just add a little bit more to it. And jealousy often involves a complex of emotions from what I've experienced and other people that I've talked to who've experienced jealousy. There can be envy mixed in with jealousy. There's probably also fear of loss in here. There's probably also insecurity. There could be triggery anxiety feelings coming from some experience in your past that this reminds you of. There's all sorts of things kind of that get mixed in with jealousy. Envy to me seems to be pretty direct. I want that.
Yep.
You got that. That's really great. I want it.
And I think splitting them up is useful sometimes, and it's not some other times. For me, I think that when I'm experiencing something that feels like fear, jealousy or envy, it's like my turn to put the mirror up in front of me and say, what needs of mine am I not getting met? And trying to find someone else to get them met, and what work am I not doing on myself?
Yeah.
Yeah, now I heard that. I remember that. Envy is something that I want, whereas jealousy is I don't want you to have that. It's debatable.
Okay, so we're just going to take one last question.
It's not really so much a question as an addition to something that was being said earlier. There was a lot of talk about children in poly relationships. I went to see that nobody's doing research on this, but in fact...
No, there is research being done, but they don't have the results out yet. I'm getting ready to participate in one.
Okay, good. Okay, so true. And I want to bring that up, actually. So this lady in Elizabeth Chef in somewhere in the eastern U.S. is actually looking into this, and she doesn't have her results yet, which is too bad for the court case, because it would actually come in handy for quite a few things, because people argue against that a lot. But she does say that so far the results are enormously positive. Children in poly relationships typically are very well adjusted. We'll have to wait for the official results.
One of the things that I think that polyamorous families are doing in modern society is they're replacing the communal family system that we have lost. Having aunts and uncles and all of those people around to love and care for those children, so that it isn't all on one or two people's shoulders, especially if they're both working full-time. If there's several people there to put input and who have different points of view, different life experiences, how can it not benefit children? Really?
there's a saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and there are a lot of advantages to poly, especially in the larger polycules. That there's economic advantages, there's resource advantages as far as like giving up chores and things like that. So when you find a bigger community and you're all supportive of each other, I mean, you can even see that with some friends that you have. When you have a large type community, it can be a very positive, well-oiled machine.
Great. Well, thank you so much all for coming out. To the participants and the volunteers and all the great questions. Thanks, have a good night.
And thank you to Cora.